Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Hanging Out for a Living. Please remember to subscribe and hit the like button. And today we are delighted to have the dynamic Adriana Skura-Palmer with us. Welcome. And Adriana is the power behind Hyperwave Marketing, which is a company that has transformed the way businesses approach their online strategies. Tirelessly working with business owners and executive leaders. She's got her hands full. She equips them with the tools they need to get found, enhance their visibility, and attract new clients. Adriana's approach to creating sustainable online strategies has really provided some real great results and changed the game for countless businesses that were struggling to grow. So let's dive in, take a deeper dive into her journey and expertise. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. It's great to be here. Thanks
Well,
for
let's
having
get
me.
started. I know our viewers are probably have a lot of questions going through their head, but we'll start. We've got some here for us, and then they can always continue the conversation with you later. But
Excellent.
Adriana, in your work revolves around enhancing the visibility of businesses and helping them grow. Can you share with us a success story that particularly stands out for you?
Yes, so I always say I really love all of our clients, and having that kind of connection and synergy is it just makes the relationship so much richer. But I come from a creative background, so I got to work. One of our clients is a very well-known glass artist here in Rochester, and beautiful, beautiful work. And so it was such an exciting project because the aesthetics was so incredible. But the challenging piece was, as it is with a lot of art, is that it doesn't quite fit in one category. But what we know from online search and what we focus on with SEO is people type in very specific phrases. And oftentimes those phrases aren't what industry leaders would use. It's always exciting to close that gap and to see what people are actually searching for, and what we in our industries might call those services. And so she was really struggling with connecting with her audience. And so we dove in and did a very, very in-depth SEO research on all of her services that she had. And we really ran through a lot of different descriptions of her work to see what people are searching for, what they might be searching for before, what they're searching for after, to really understand how do we best connect with her audience. Because her price point wasn't really, I want to buy a sort of a nice, painting and for like $100 for my wall. Like, we really were looking for either collectors or people that wanted to have a beautiful glass window custom made piece, or architecture, connecting her with somebody who might be building architectural pieces that might want to enhance the space. And so it was such an exciting project. And I think out of all the industries that I work with, it provided the most amount of learning, because we really had a lot of aha moments saying, oh, this really isn't what we thought it was. So we looked at things like architectural art glass. Like if we type in architectural glass versus architectural art glass, what are the differences?
Right.
So we created this really, really comprehensive website. It had 10 very focused landing pages for a lot of different services that she provided. And right away, when we launched the website, we were able to see that she jumped up a lot, like in some instances, like 20 plus spots on
Wow.
Google search, which is significant. I mean,
It is.
that's several pages. So I would say that was really amazing. And then additional to that, the important piece I think often is with visual artists, they want to use their website as a portfolio. So this is where the functionality and design have to really intimately dance together. And we often say, functionality of the website is very important. Not to say that the design isn't,
Right.
but there has to be an equilibrium. But the website has to work for the business owner. Like, it has to create revenue for them. It has to support their business. So that, I would say, was like the greatest piece, where it's like we did find a way where she uses it as a portfolio. And she's able, if she's working with an architect, she can send them exactly to the page that shows the portfolio that focuses on that. And if she's working with a homeowner that wants the incredible window transformed, then she can send them to the page that showcases that work, which oftentimes, like, we want to see the work that focuses specifically on what we want as clients. So that was like the piece that we were trying to solve as well. And we're still continuing to work with her. It's been many, many, many years of wonderful relationship.
Well, knowing a little bit about your background that our listeners or our audience don't know that I know about your creative background, this must have been just such, I mean, yeah, it was, yeah, right in your
It was.
wheelhouse, and totally just energized you that way. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
love it.
I mean, like I said, I love all of our clients, but I really, really love working with creatives.
Yeah.
And or change makers, movers and shakers who are really working toward making this world a better place.
Absolutely. Well, that'll take us into our second question. What do you believe is the most common mistake businesses make when trying to implement their own online strategies? And how do you, yeah, there's a
Yes.
place to write a book, right? And how do you
Yeah.
help them rectify it?
Yes, it's been very interesting to see the arc, because I started very long time ago. I made my first website in 1998, way before we had WordPress. And it changed drastically, because initially you had to have a lot of skill to create websites. Like, you had to know coding, and you really had to understand the programs. And when the WordPress came, it was kind of like the first try to be like, you still need a lot of knowledge, but you could technically purchase a theme. And usually I see a lot of business owners that maybe have been in a business for a few years, and they have built their own website. And we live in the age where we no longer lack information. Like, we're actually are inundated with the amount of information that is coming on us, especially when it comes to marketing. Like, I always say, we live in a world where everybody is a marketing expert. But the trick is, just because something worked for someone doesn't mean that it's going to fit your business and work for you. So oftentimes when I come across business owners, they have tried a lot of different strategies, and it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
And so they have wasted tremendous amount of time and effort following the strategies that weren't specifically made for their business, and in the process making it way more complicated that marketing actually needs to be.
Right.
So that's what I come across over and over and over again. And I think especially right now, we do have a lot of website builders.
Yeah.
And so it's very easy for people to go in and do drag and drop. And I used to say that there's certain things you should leave to professionals, like dentistry, for example, right? Like, we just need to go to a dentist. And so website building, I used to say, just let a professional, it's gonna save you so many hours. I think right now, if you have the foundation, so let's say you might be a graphic designer, or maybe you had worked in branding, or maybe you have a basic concept on, or you have been a visual artist, or at least you have a lot of time to sort of do that type of research. There are some industries that I say you can start with a very simple kind of drag and drop.
Sure.
But at certain point, your business is going to reach a point where you want it to work for you. If you're working for the website, then it's like it's yet another thing that you have to maintain in your business that actually isn't helping you.
Right.
And so that's what I would say is that at least if you want to build your own, make sure you have some foundation. And
Sure.
if you don't, a lot of us, it's just not something that we have done. I would say just find somebody that can build you just a foundational website. And as you grow, make sure that the website is able to grow with you. And then you can build and connect systems
Sure.
on top of it. Because that's the important, that to me, that's a really important part, is how is the website supporting your business? How is it making you money
Right.
ultimately?
Exactly. And that's a really great segue into our next question, because you just touched on how, the digital landscape is forever
Yeah.
evolving. So the question is then, in our evolving digital landscape, how do you ensure that the strategies you provide remain effective and relevant?
Yes. What a great question. I always say, if you want to be enrolled and in a perpetual master program, then go into marketing, because that's what it truly is you are constantly learning. And I
Yeah.
feel like anytime when I finally feel like, oh great, like, we got this is like we cracked this code, Facebook changes something, or Google changes their entire SEO algorithm, and and things are constantly changing and evolving.
Yes.
And so I've noticed it's very difficult for people that just, they like to, for things to stay, fundamentally the same.
Yeah.
You have to be able to change and pivot really quickly. For
Yeah.
me, that's the piece that's exciting, because the marketing that I know from 20 years ago and the marketing that we do right now is as if I completely changed industries. Like, it's
Oh,
not the same animal whatsoever.
absolutely. I mean, you have to continue to evolve and not revolve, because if you
Yeah.
revolve, you're not going to, you don't exist anymore. You just don't
One
exist anymore.
100%. Like, you have to love the process of learning. You have to
Yes.
love the process of problem solving. I think foundationally, you have to have a love affair with technology, because the technology is growing at the exponential rate.
Yes.
And versus being in a place where we're constantly are frustrated by it, like,
Right.
I embrace it. Like, I'm always like, what is happening? Like,
Exactly.
for example, right now, everybody's talking about AI. And so
Yes.
instead of just being like, no, like, I have my process, like, I'm like, how can it help us?
Yeah,
Like, how can it help business
exactly.
owners? And
Exactly.
it's phenomenal. Like, I think there is so much new technology that is constantly being developed,
Yep.
that as a marketer, in many many ways, it's an excuse for me to just constantly learn and grow and dive into these new technologies and be like, how can these actually help my clients?
Right.
Like, how can we exponentially grow businesses using these new technology versus doing well, we have always done it this way, so we're going to continue. Like, I really
Yeah, that's the nail in the coffin right
yeah.
there. We've always done it this way. Yes, no.
No, no,
So that
there we
really
go.
speaks to, there are just so much potential for businesses online. I mean, you just touched on that with the AI. And so how do you help your clients identify the most profitable avenues for their unique needs
Yeah.
and goals?
Yes. And another great question. So I actually I come from like two very interesting backgrounds to end up in marketing. And marketing has been a thread that's kind of gone through my life. But I come from a traditional art background. I actually have a BFA. And then I also have, through most of my life, studied different healing modalities. So like Reiki, energy healing,
Yes.
craniosacral, and a lot of different coaching modalities as well. And I was like, I'm going to become a coach, an
Mhm.
energy worker and a coach. Like, that was kind of like the path that I was at. And the universe had a whole different plan.
Yeah,
And I always say, I didn't just decide one day I'm going to do marketing. It's just people kept coming to me and be like, hey, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you
sure.
help me? And so one of the most interesting pieces in what I do, I always say that it probably is like 60 to 70% coaching
Okay.
and the rest of it is where we actually work on technology. And I think that, this is much different, especially when working with small business owners,
Yes.
because our businesses are so personal to what is our life's mission. Like they're intimately interwoven. And so you
Yes.
take this really big thing, like, what am I doing in my life? Like, what is like the big mission? What is my gift to the world? And
Right.
then you try to put it in this very technical, like, now I'm going to build a business. And I think that building businesses, it's more of a spiritual quest than it is like a kind of a technical to do. Like that's
Sure.
how I really approach it. And so one of the biggest things that I do with a lot of my clients, really most of my clients, is to go through the process of, what is it that you're like, what is it that your business is actually going to accomplish? Like what are the problems that you're solving? Who are your ideal clients? Why are you doing? Like the why is so very important.
Yeah.
Because if the why is like, well, I just don't want to have an office job and I thought that this would be fun, it just, it's not going to be a long lasting, like
Yeah. It's
there.
not
So I'm
strong.
looking for like the, that hard seated why of, I feel like this is my life's work and I need to do this.
Right.
Because the technical piece, like all of that you can plug in,
Right.
but that is like, without that, I feel like you can't really, that's like the foundation of your business. So to really build something, to really build a successful online business, whether it's just a website but you provide in-person services, or whether your business is 100% online, you
Sure.
have to understand those pieces. Like you have to know, like, why am I building this? Is this like my legacy work? Is this like my personal growth work? Sometimes it's like you just need that piece to grow to what the next thing is, and that's,
Right.
I mean, that's absolutely valid.
Right.
That's incredible. But I feel, until I have those pieces, I don't really know what's the best system to build.
Sure.
And my motto is always like, simplicity is always the best thing. And we actually started with building much more complex webs, like the whole revenue generation systems.
Hmm.
And we realized, so we would kind of build this entire system that it was like ready for you when you were. And we realized, and when I say we, my husband and I are partners in our business. When you start from the foundations, so when you start, like, what is it that your website needs to help you with right now? So maybe you're building your email list.
Okay.
Maybe you are focusing on growing your reach through SEO. And so that's going to be content creation and blogging, or, video.
Right.
Maybe you have a book that you want to sell, or a physical product, right? Or maybe you're creating a course. What your business is right now, it isn't what is going to be 5 years from now.
Right.
But I look at it like the website is like a house. And so you might buy, a sort of a starter house. And as you kind of grow, you're like, okay, I'm going to knock this wall. And then I'm going to make this bedroom bigger, right? And then we're going to
Sure.
finish the basement. And now let's work on the attic, right? So as your dreams get bigger, as you like
Right.
settle into the space, your home becomes more of you, your business becomes more of where you want to, like, you settle into it, you see the
Right.
possibilities. And so if you build a foundational website, but you build it in such a way that you can plug in all those systems to it, that I think is the most important piece. Because if you want to, let's just use an example. If you want to, let's say, if you currently are doing one-on-one sessions, maybe you're a coach, but your dream is to go and do online courses and workshops. But that's like, I'm probably not going to be ready for another 2 years. Like usually we'll be like, well, we'll just wait, or we'll build it over there and we kind of like just fill it up. I think if you just build with like, this is where you are right now, but when you're ready, we just keep adding.
Right.
And I felt it's been the biggest way to approach, to build for growth.
Absolutely.
And to approach this, like, this is where I am right now. This is where I want to be in 5 years. This is where I want to be in 10 years.
Right.
And oftentimes I get clients that come to me and they're like, yeah, I built this website and I spent all this money and it's only been like a year or two. And now all these pieces in my business changed, but my website can't handle it.
Yeah.
And that's like really heartbreaking because you oftentimes have to start from zero. But if you build it in such a way that you can just be like, okay, then we're going to add all these pages, then we're going to add all this course module, then we're going to be able to accept payments. Like it becomes what I feel the website should be, which is really a revenue generation system.
Absolutely. And would you also agree that it's in that way, when you build it like that, there's a method to the madness, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? And then it doesn't feel like it's so overwhelming, right? Yeah, totally. Absolutely. And I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Adriana, for this
Absolutely.
enlightening discussion. Your knowledge and expertise in the field of, or in the world of really digital marketing and strategy is really invaluable. And to our listeners, this is your chance to continue the conversation with Adriana. And you're invited to learn more about how Adriana and Hyperwave Marketing can take your business to the next level. So say goodbye to spinning your wheels and say hello to real results. And as I said, contact information on the best way to connect with Adriana will be in the description of this interview. Please, again, hit subscribe and like, and stay tuned for more insightful conversations on hanging out for a living. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now. Bye.
Thank you.